In our first module on inspection, we learned the importance of determining the proper flow rate and the importance of the system configuration on each pool or spa. Please keep in mind that compliance to the Pool and Spa Safety Act is more than just about swapping covers. How do we know if the current suction fittings are adequate, and what do we do when they're not? This training module will cover the specifics of selecting the proper cover and give a few concrete examples of what to look for during a typical inspection.
The second section of this inspection checklist encompasses a broad set of requirements. These ensure the suction fitting is correctly installed and in accordance with both the ASME 19.8 standard and the manufacturer's installation instructions. We cannot overemphasize the importance of the scope of this standard. ASME 19.8 is not a drain cover standard. It is specifically a suction fitting standard, and in section 1.1.2 states, suction fitting shall be defined as all components, cover grate and hardware, including the sump and or body, cover grate, and hardware. Here is a typical compliant cover as it ships from the manufacturer. Note that there are a few things you should know about the product. If you're inspecting a pool or spa that has been modified, it's necessary that you verify all of the installation components in the manufacturer's instructions. Not all, but many suction fittings come with a frame or sump and the hardware to attach it. Quite often, the existing frame must be cut from the concrete and the new frame installed. You should obtain a copy of the manufacturer's instructions for specific details on installation with existing frames or sumps. Bulkhead fittings, as found in fiberglass and vinyl liner pools or portable spas, will typically have a cover that attaches to a through-wall bulkhead fitting. Follow all manufacturer's instructions supplied with the replacement suction fitting cover. There are several other points that should be considered during inspection, including clearance between the sump piping and the bottom of the grate approved frame or sump as tested, wall versus floor mounting designation, maximum flow rates in these positions, and service life of the part.
It's not enough to walk to the edge of the pool or spa and look for a familiar cover shape or design and approve it. To be in compliance with the Pool and Spa Safety Act, you must verify that it's installed correctly per the ASME 19.8 standard and the manufacturer's instructions.
In particular, you might ask some of the following questions. Is the cover within its designated service life? Is the cover securely fastened with the screws that came with the fitting? Is the frame or sump correct, and is the cover clearance correct? Are the bulkhead fitting attach points tested? Our goal is to verify that the cover stays in place through proper installation and regular maintenance.
We covered in detail the various markings and logo on a cover, but it's just as important to verify how the cover is attached. Remember, no suction outlet is safe when the cover is broken, loose, or missing, and the pool or spa should be closed immediately if you encounter any of these issues.
Here is an example of how labeling might lead one astray. This pool had an 18 by 18 inch frame with a flat grate. As you can see, there are screws missing and the grate is even broken. If you look carefully, you'll notice that an 8-inch suction line is a little more than 2 inches away. All the flow for this 77,000-gallon pool is concentrated at the center of the suction fitting. When the pool was brought into compliance in 2009, a new ASME 19.8 compliant cover was installed over this field fabricated sump. Referring to the manufacturer's installation instructions, this particular suction outlet fitting requires 1.5 diameters of pipe clearance, or 12 inches. Obviously, 2 inches is insufficient clearance. This pool is not compliant with the Act. This is not a problem with the cover. It is an issue of incorrect installation. Unless the pool was inspected closely before the modification or a mask was used to inspect underwater, there is no way to verify from the deck that the pool is compliant with the Pool and Spa Safety Act. The same modification was completed on the 2 spas that are adjacent to the pool. This is not an isolated problem. Pools were modified in this way during 2009, and we need to inspect for and correct any dangerous situations. As you can see, there are several red flags on this portion of the inspection that would be caught by a simple checklist. In our last example, we have a field fabricated sump that did not meet the manufacturer's minimum clearance, and a cover that was not adequately secured. Inspected only from the deck, we have no way of knowing if the proper frame and installation hardware were used. One final note on multiple outlets. When used, the maximum system flow rate must be less than the rating of each cover. The flow rates of the two covers cannot be added together. Outlet cover spacing should be a minimum of 3 feet when measured from the center of each cover.
What you've learned is that inspecting a suction outlet correctly is far more complicated than simply verifying that it has a correct logo or labeling. It's just as important to verify that the flow rate, fasteners, and sump conform to the manufacturer's installation instructions. Most importantly, the suction outlet cover must be securely in place at all times if anyone enters the pool or spa.